Hey guys, Jason here with a word to the wise. I got some time alone at home and I got to run out actually and go do. I got closet projects. I'm trying to make some more room in our tiny closets by just reworking them in a way. Um, got my cat here. It looks like he wants to get involved. So I watched a video the other day by On Point Preparedness. He was talking about the injustice that is pouring out into the world right now and that it's not going to stop. But if we're looking for that antichrist figure to come, people could say, oh, look, it's happening right now. Or they could say, well, this is, like he was saying, it's a deception to make the world so unjust where they'll be demanding justice. And it's interesting because I've showed that when you look up, say, justice or righteousness or right in the Hebrew, and then you take that word, and it's funny because I know in the Strongs, I believe it's 6663 or 6664. There's a couple that are all in that same range. You can kind of just keep skipping to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. There's like 5 or 6 that are all dealing with that right justice or righteousness in however the Hebrew words it. You know, there's a masculine form or a feminine form or a proper form. So, but if you take those 3 letters and you go to Google Translator, since I don't read Hebrew, I can get it translated there. So I take that, copy, cut, paste into Hebrew to English in Google Translator, and it comes up Jupiter. And you look below Jupiter and it's verified. You know, so they I don't know how or why or how it's come to that, but you know, righteousness means the same thing as Jupiter. Justice means the same thing as Jupiter, and you can't find Jupiter in the Old Testament. So I just want to point out some things, and I think this all kind of comes together and ties it all together. So I want to start here first at 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Some sort of message just popped up on my phone, of course, while I'm recording. And this is just at the beginning. Chapter 5, verse 2 to 3. And my battery's running low, so bear with me too. For you yourselves fully know that the day of the Lord comes in this manner, as a thief by night. For when they might say, peace and security, then sudden destruction comes upon them as labor pains to her having in womb, and they shall not escape. But let's go to verse 4 too. But you, brothers, are not in darkness, so that the day should overtake you as a thief. So what does that mean to be overtaken as a thief? You go to Revelations chapter 6, and it talks about 16, it talks about the 6th bowl. And it talks about the Euphrates drying up, that it might make a way for the kings of the rising sun. When you look at it in the Greek, is what it says, not the kings of the east. Kings of the rising sun should come. And I saw coming out of the mouth of them spirits like frogs. And it came out of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. And they deceive the world, I believe is what it says. They deceive the world for the coming of that great day of the battle of the Lord. In, paraphrase, let me just pop it up. I got it right here. Which the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and the whole world to gather them to the battle of the great day of God Almighty. And then it says, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garment, lest he walk naked, and they should see his shame. And then he gathered them into the place called Armageddon. So here it even says the day of the Lord, and it says at the end in verse 4 here, so that that day should not overtake you as a thief, because you're not in darkness, you're aware. So what really got me into this is I kept in my head the other day, just kept saying, God of forces is what it says in the King James. I have the audio Bible, which is in a King James. I can't get another Bible version that I would want to use. And the King James you can get a lot from it, but when you look at actual translations and you look at other Bibles that have better translations and they're easier to read, like the Berean Study Bible, this is the Berean Literal Bible for the New Testament. I like to use that mainly, but in the Old Testament, King James sometimes has the correct wording. Sometimes it has the Berean Study Bible. It's just a lot easier to read. It's a much smoother English, like current day. And then there's the English Standard Version, which a lot of times has a lot of the right ways. But I found all of them have translation issues sometimes. So that's why I like to go into the Hebrew in the Old Testament or the Greek in the New Testament and just kind of compare apples to apples. So looking at Daniel 11, what I'm saying that kept ringing in my head is the God of fortress is what every other Bible uses. So then I looked it up in the Hebrew to see, does it actually say God of fortress? And I'll read it just real quick so you can kind of see where I'm at. But it's Daniel 11, verses 37. And he shall show no regard for the God of his fathers, nor for the one desired by women, nor for any other God, because he will magnify himself above them all. And in his place he will honor a God of fortress, like a fort, a God his fathers did not know, with gold, silver, precious stones, and riches. Okay, now if my laptop wants to die, that's fine. So, if you look at the Second Temple, I think it was like 150 BC, they made a giant statue of Zeus in it, and I think it's one of the 8 wonders of the world. If you look up the 8 wonders of the world, I think Zeus's statue is one of them, and it's only, stories of it, but you can read up on that and what they did in those days, and that's what they would do, is they would bring gold, silver, precious stones, and riches, and I'm sure food and wine and every other thing, that you could possibly bring. But that was why the Second Temple was also destroyed, because they set up an abomination. But the thing is, when I was looking up that fortress word and then taking the Hebrew, and I was thinking, I can cut and paste that word and I'll put it in the Google Translator and see what it comes up, see if it actually comes up the same as it did then. And when you put that into the Hebrew to get translated to English, it literally takes the Hebrew letters and words and just puts it right into the English bar. It's like, well, that doesn't help. So then I thought, okay, well, maybe then I could go to find a different site that'll do the same translating. So I found like 1 or 2, and the same thing kept happening. Every time I put it in Hebrew to get translated, it would give me question marks or nothing at all. And so it's like, okay, well, this is not gonna work. So, and there goes the laptop. So 2 Thessalonians 2 can wait till another time. So I'm taking it for what it is. Fortress. So when I kept going back to Bible Hub to actually keep looking the Strong's, looking the English, the Englishman's Concordance. There's a couple of different ones. There's one that was called the NAS, but it talks about when you look at that root word of fort, it's U-Z. And then I think when you're looking at fortress in Daniel 11, it was Mauzim. So I don't know if that's a plural version or if it's because the words they used before, like a god of fortress. So that it could be the way that the sentence structure is. I think Hebrew works in that way too. But I wrote it down here. Fortress, root word uz. And it's a place or means of safety and protection. And I'll show you the other versions I got on my screenshot too. So then it got me thinking of that verse in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction comes upon them. So it's like, okay. So I wonder if that's what it is. It's a God of somebody that's going to somehow promise or promote safety and security, protection. And like they keep talking about China rising up into the 4th industrial revolution, And will that actually be a takeover or a revolution from them where they want to take over the world? Will it be something to do with computers? Will it be something to do in the Middle East countries? Because when you look at the Euphrates and it talks about the kings of the rising sun, well, if the Euphrates dries up, it runs through Turkey, Syria, and Iraq, which would make a way for them to just cross the river, which used to be a mile wide in some places, is now just dwindling down to a stream in some areas. So just something to keep in mind. You know, it's a better understanding when you see what fortress doesn't mean a god of a fort, you know, or a god of a building, but a place of peace and security is what it possibly might be saying. And then when you're looking at that in Revelation 16, when it's talking about those kings that go forth to, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and the whole world to gather them together for the battle of that great day. So it brings the world together, and what are they wanting to do? They want to bring peace and safety to the world, possibly by going against something. Or, you know, maybe they're trying to battle against somebody that God has brought to bring some sort of a judgment on the world. Maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. See, that's the thing. It's all going to get revealed more and more as the days go on. Today's the 30th, so in October. So you go by days, you got 11 days. 11 days until November 10th. And I saw this morning the FDA approved. Now it's being reported now because that's the way it works. It always happens on a Friday at the end of the day where nobody can have any kind of a say, and it's going to have the whole weekend for people to sit on. And the FDA approved the PZ dose company for the 5 to 11-year-olds. That one. And now I'm seeing, you know, I'm wondering, we got 11 days. Will that make Joe all of a sudden say, well, now I'm going to make that mandatory too? You know, and then you got people in, I think California said that once it is, they're going to mandate it for all school children. So why is that so important now also? I may have shared this once before, but going into Matthew chapter 18, it says greatest in the kingdom. And that's not labeled in the actual text, so it's just kind of the way the chapter is labeled. But let me just read this here. So, at the same time came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus called a little child unto him, and set him on the midst of them, and said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Whosoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And whosoever shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me. So just stopping there, because it goes on to causing others to sin, which I don't want to bring into this, but I'll read the first verse. But whosoever shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it'd be better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and that he was drowned in the depths of the sea. So take that in and think that this is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven, the children. And now they're approving by the FDA, saying that it's okay. So once the FDA, if the world's looking at America like they trust, our government organizations for protecting the people, even though a lot of other countries won't take our food into their country. It's illegal to sell like Duncan Hines cake mix in the UK. You can't sell it there. They won't accept it. And I just saw, it's made by an aluminum production company that makes cake mix that has aluminum preservatives in their food, aluminum. And then they talk about Alzheimer's and dementia with all these new drugs that are popping up on TV. I've been watching it all day. So there again, are these things being done on purpose? But I don't want to get too far off. So I think that we take that And we have to watch now. We have to watch now to see where this is going to go in the coming days. And will they do something like that? Not to mention that you got Joe, who's over in Europe right now, going to Scotland. He's meeting with the Pope. They're having an Earth Summit. So they're formulating that whole Earth worship thing too, which was a part of a few of those last videos. The Franciscan order, which is kind of a crazy find to sit there and just read on that and see that's exactly what it talks about, worshiping the earth and animals on October 4th, which ties into that Back to the Future video I put up about 10:04, and that's when that holiday is supposed to be. And it's about that, I showed in there Gregory the Ninth, King Gregory, and I showed just a little clip on that too. Not seeing that Franciscan order at that time, but it's just crazy how things just came back around, and it shows me again that, you know, if I dug a little deeper, I would have found more. Is there anything else real quick? Because I have to get moving here. But yeah, I'll leave it at that.